We all had a favorite YouTuber as a child, and for a lot of us, they played a large role in who we are as people today. Actually, we did something like this in the first one, right? Well, okay, y'all get the gist. This is part 2 of your beloved childhood YouTubers stacked against each other in a bid for the top tier. So hello everybody and welcome back to the ultimate tier list. Alright, so in F tier we have 42, what the fuck are you doing? Well, I wanted to do the ultimate tier list. You know, it's what the people want. Right guys? I'm sending you back to your dimension. Wait, no, don't do that. Oh, hey, while I grab the video for you, I just want to feature these lovely friends. As far as I can tell, y'all really like part 1 of this, so I'm going to make this intro snappy and we can get right into it. If you're new here and you want to support me, all I ask is that you watch this video to the end, which you are probably already going to do. And if you want to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment down below. Oh, here it is. Alright, enjoy the ultimate tier list. Alright, starting in F tier, we have FouseyTube. Now, I said a similar thing in my first video about Sky's Minecraft, but if you were a FouseyTube fan, then my heart truly breaks for you. The difference between this situation and that one, though, is that FouseyTube was kind of already a documented asshole. His videos were funny to most kids at the time because, well, they were kids. They couldn't exactly see how Mortal Kombat and Elevator Prank was, I don't know, the worst fucking idea you could come up with, because those neurons just didn't develop yet. I was in no way, shape, or form a FouseyTube fan. When it came to pranks, I was much more of a fan of goofy things that didn't really hurt anybody involved. Things like robot and drive-thru prank. This is a good prank because you get a rise out of somebody, but at the end of the day, nobody gets hurt and everybody can laugh it off. Love this channel, by the way. Now, FouseyTube did fake a lot of his pranks, which I am aware of. So in the best case scenario, he is a fake YouTube pranker, and in the worst case scenario, he is a public asshole. Okay, but assuming he did only fake his pranks, why would he be in F tier? I'll just rapid fire on this one. This guy has done a lot of shit. He took advantage of a drunk girl who was the victim of sex trafficking, has manic episodes, yells at his fans, got thrown out of restaurants and hotels, assaulted other creators, and swatted himself. It is just a laundry list of things with this man. Now, I'm going to also tell you that these were the actions of a very mentally ill person, but also realize that excuses nothing about anything of what he's done. This is what happens when fame goes to your head in the worst kind of way. So, F tier every time. Alright, moving on to E tier, we have Stillcraft. Stillcraft? You might be thinking, this is one you haven't heard about. Let me assure you, it is. Yep. Just let the shame wash over you. If you watched Minecraft School as a kid, you probably thought it was fire at the time. If you haven't already, do not rewatch it. Minecraft School is absolutely cursed through and through, and it has only gotten worse and weirder throughout the years. I feel ashamed to admit that I used to watch Minecraft School at all, at any time, because like, what the fuck even is this? I won't spend too long here because not much needs to be said, and I don't really want to drag my pride through the mud that hard. It's just crazy because I feel like this embodies the feeling of not liking something you thought was peak when you were a child. So, we're just going in E tier with this one. Alright, moving on to D tier, we have Ray William Johnson. Just gonna wear this on my sleeve, but I am not really a fan of Ray William Johnson. D tier has kind of taken on the meaning of the creators that I have the utmost respect for, but can't stand to watch the videos of. I really couldn't stand his old videos. I did watch a few, but I was immediately turned away at the time. I'm also just gonna say that this is 100% a preference thing, because it's not like he was a bad creator, I just didn't like his old content. He is, however, kind of redeemed to me because I thoroughly enjoy his new kind of content. It's truly really basic stuff, just kind of covering stories and events in his own unique format, which I will admit is actually kind of fun to watch. He does catch a little bit of flack for his use of AI, but I don't personally find it egregious. As far as I'm concerned, as long as you aren't creating your final product with AI, then using it is completely fine. For example, I have no sort of audio setup and don't really have the money to upgrade it. So I typically run my voiceovers through Adobe Podcasts. There are some people who will stake you through the heart for just mentioning AI, but to me, if AI is being used as a tool to help further your journey as a creator or as an anything, and it helps lower the barrier of entry to actually learn and do it well, then all power to you. Here, to all of you who are concerned about the dangers of AI, ChatGPT, make a realistic version of me. Well, I didn't really ask for a bottom jaw, but thanks, I guess. Either the shape of my head is so confusing that the most sophisticated AI available can't make sense of it, or AI still has some way to go. Anywho, if you like Ray William Johnson, you are totally valid for doing so. He just isn't my cup of tea. D tier for me, but again, that's just personal preference. Okay, next in D tier we have 8-Bit Ryan. Okay, so in the first video, I gave Fusion Gamers a little bit of a hard time because of how little I can stand him when he plays a horror game. because to me, he is the YouTuber equivalent of Dora. So in all fairness, I kinda have to put 8-Bit Ryan down here too. I'm starting to think I might just have beef with every horror gamer in general because they have the weirdest tendency to flop around like a dying fish when thrusted into a horror environment. I'll remind you that being thrusted into said horror environment is their literal job. I thought it was just Fusion gamers, but I recently watched an 8-Bit Ryan video and I couldn't help but want to scream through the screen that he is playing the game like a drunk turtle. I am a self-proclaimed horror game connoisseur.
Going the right way. This is a dead end.
Shit.
Again! Oh, it's a ghost! It's a ghost!
So when I play a horror game, it's immediately boots on the ground. I am setting up a goddamn perimeter by 1 AM, and by 3 AM, I skip the priest and I speed dial Jesus so he can bring in the heavy artillery. That being said, I've come to believe that they're just playing it up for content, and I've been taking it so serious because I've actually just outgrown the demographic. Sad day. That being said though, I do have a preference for 8-Bit Ryan as opposed to Fusion gamers, but I'm going to refrain from bias and just do him like I did Fusion gamers. Alright, moving on to C tier, we have Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast occupies a really weird space in the internet right now. While he is the face of new YouTube, the Mr. Beast channel definitely has its roots in the golden age of YouTube. Disregarding where he is today, Mr. Beast's content was actually very entertaining. Even when it was just 4 random dudes in an office, I did genuinely enjoy watching that kind of content. I feel kind of weird admitting that I used to be an old Mr. Beast fan. Anyways, if I had to rate his golden age content, I would probably give him like a high B or a low A rank. But of course, there are some things we have to talk about. I am no longer so sure of Mr. Beast's character because he has become a YouTube billionaire. I generally subscribe to the principle that money doesn't corrupt, it enhances. You don't become a different person when you get lots of money immediately, it just reveals how you truly value the world around you. Something that is significantly less talked about that though is that while money enhances who you truly are, it also doesn't stop doing that. Like, the more money you make, the more it amplifies who you are, and even some of the best people that you know, when put under that kind of magnification, the cracks will always start to show. And at that level, they'll start to show big time. It's one thing when you have so much money that you can buy a nice car and have money to spare. It is a complete other thing if buying a nice car for you is like me deciding which anime I want to rewatch for the umpteenth time. It's very hard not to become a harmful person when accidents and scandals could happen from pure oversight. In truth, your average person does not have the capability to handle that much wealth. Either morally or mentally, every person has an amount of power which kind of balances out with their soul. For some, it's $1 million house, or in today's term, a cardboard box. And for others, it could literally be a cardboard box. So when it comes to people of that level, I always start with the assumption that they're hiding something. I would describe Mr. Beast as your average person because that was basically his whole brand. And for the record, he does seem like a genuinely well-meaning person and a smart one at that, but that's not necessarily my point. My point is more so that he's built such a giant empire, and more often than not at this level of influence, you tend to lose touch. Like with the whole thumbnail AI thing, it really screams out of touch. So while I do want to trust Mr. Beast to some extent, I do have an inherent distrust of the super wealthy, simply because of how easy it is to invite corruption, wrongdoing, and delusion. I could debate this one forever, but we're just gonna put him in C tier for now and move on. Alright, next in C tier we have Mooselk. Now, who here likes Overwatch? Ouch. Okay, so I love Overwatch, been playing since 2016, and when Overwatch was still in its infancy, there was a creator called Mooselk. He just made silly Overwatch content. This one isn't that deep, I just like Overwatch. I don't know how many people watched him for that though, since he switched to Fortnite over the years, in which I never forgave him for. I guess it was kind of understandable though, given the state of Overwatch at the time. But Mooselk was a hilarious YouTuber. He wasn't exactly wait for weeks kind of content YouTuber, but I still enjoyed his videos whenever I saw him. So Mooselk is gonna go in C tier. Alright, last in C tier we have Ali A. I actually considered cutting Ali A from the list, because I don't actually have too much to say about him, but I do, get this, hold on, wait for it. Like, watch time. Man, watch me ramble for like 2 minutes about the whole subject and prove myself wrong. Actually, that would give me more editing work to do. You know what, I'll actually just make this fast. Ali A was admittedly a favorite creator of mine for a while, even though he came a little bit later on. Watching him today is kind of like staring into the goddamn sun because I can't help but avert my gaze. But either way, Ali A kind of got me on my Fortnite kick at the time, and he is a pretty decent and engaging creator. Half the reason why he's in C tier though is because I hardly count him in the golden age of YouTube, but still felt him worthy enough to mention, so C tier. Okay, moving on to B tier, we have Jack's Films. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of preface this by saying that everyone in B tier doesn't personally hit my nostalgia spots. There are actually a lot of creators on here that were requested to be in part 2, so even though I won't be able to give a deep dive, I feel obligated to honor the request of you lovely friends. Jack's Films is someone that I know, but at the same time, don't know at all. I've known him as a YouTube legend, but I never watched his content. Even more than that, I haven't seen his content. I haven't seen a single video, like thumbnail or anything, which is so weird to me because I've definitely been aware of him since I was a kid. Also, he is a total G for beefing with Sniper Wolf because I really don't like Sniper Wolf. Never have, actually. But that aside, I don't really know how I completely skirted even encountering Jack's films properly before researching this video, but I feel obligated to give him a B tier because I know how much people admire him as an OG creator. But sadly, I have no recollection. While I definitely think he's an amazing content creator now, his content now can't really be too much of a judge. Probably the best example of limited exposure, so Jack's films in B tier. Alright, next in B tier we have Spycakes. From what I can gather, Spycakes was a classic Gmod creator. That said, I was a Gmod fiend in my youth. I can't help but feel nostalgic for most things Gmod just because of how prevalent the game was. Animations to the gaming community, if you were a child at this time, you wouldn't be escaping this game. Spycakes did and does it all. Ironically, he kinda gives me Muselk vibes, but just in a different genre. Again, it will be a little hard to judge it because my personal experience is limited, but giving you an official Yamikaze review, the content, check. The brand, check. The vibe, check. This channel is Yamikaze approved, so I'm going to give him a very light B tier because honestly, I was kinda swinging between putting him in B and A tier, so. Moving on. Alright, top of B tier is going to go to Offmoo, and Offmoo is going to be a little bit of a difficult one for me to rate because I had the same problem with her that I do with Cupquake, which was in the first part. That problem being that I'm not a girl, so this kind of content really wasn't recommended to me. And of course, it's going to be harder for me to rate girls' content seeing as it wasn't really made for me. That being said, I have a very simple fix for this. To all my friends that are female on this channel, don't say that I don't do anything for you. ChatGPT, please turn me into a female.
Don't make me regret this. Now, Offmoo's content is a vibe that I definitely feel. To me, she heavily reminds me of the Atlantic Craft, which, as you can recall, I am absolutely feral for. And to her credit, she does content creation very well. Just taking a once over this channel, it's very clear to me why people would be nostalgic about this, because this is a really well-made YouTuber. And on top of that, it looks like she managed to survive being a relatively pure-blooded Minecraft YouTuber. So always props for that. It's definitely child-focused content, so I imagine like the rest it might be unbearable to some on a rewatch. But it's odd because I only have compliments for this channel, even though I wouldn't touch this content with a 100-foot pole personally. Generally, it's just a really nice channel. Man, that's kind of weird. I feel like I should be complaining right now. Alright girlies, this is 0-1. I suppose y'all kind of hit the nail on the head with this, but I'll be back. I mean, I guess I am a girly right now, but you know what? ChatGPT, turn me back.
Well, this isn't exactly what I had in mind, but sure. But again, just like Cupquake, I can't really put her any higher no matter how much I glaze her because I cannot speak from personal experience. So if you would personally argue for A or S tier, know that is 100% reasonable in my book. My book of reasonable things. This is where I keep them, and that's one. Alright, starting off A tier, we have Preston Plays. Now, I know a lot of people who find Preston's content extremely nostalgic. I am not one of them. I really don't know why. The young me made some very, not questionable, but just odd decisions. I remember seeing his channel and thinking to myself, that's a cool profile picture, dude. And then just going on with my day. Normally, this would have been enough to get any kid into a YouTuber's channel, but for me, the gears just didn't click. I'm pretty sure it's because I just don't like popular things. I'm one of those people who hates popular things just because I don't want to be like everyone else. I will acknowledge that it is a very stupid habit. Have I outgrown it? No. Anyways, I personally have no nostalgia for Preston, but he is without a doubt an OG. I am pretty sure he is the king of having a creeper profile picture. And trust me, there were a lot back then. Even today, he has a pretty considerable YouTube presence. He is kind of like the gaming version of Mr. Beast. Which I will say from my perspective, I don't really have too much appreciation for how YouTube content has changed because of Mr. Beast's influence. But at the end of the day, he's doing what every YouTuber does and just fighting tooth and nail to stay relevant. So while I don't really appreciate the final product of what his brand has become, I do respect his status as an OG, and I do respect the YouTube grind. Man, Jacksepticeye was really on the money about Mr. Beast. Alright, next in A tier is gonna be Jelly, which by extension I also want to include Craner and Slogo into this because they all film together. And I obviously have a soft spot for Craner because I am a massive Sunday fan. And while I didn't watch his content after he stopped recording with Sunday, I did keep up with him because I missed the guy, alright? These guys for the most part are a variety gaming channel. I know Craner got his start as a Minecraft YouTuber. I'm not exactly sure about Jelly and Slogo. I am pretty sure they were both variety gamers back then too, but I'm not too sure. Jelly is a name that I heard a lot in my childhood, and as we've discussed, one that I refuse to watch because I'm just hard-headed like that. The only one in these bunch that I'm truly unfamiliar with is Slogo, but either way, these guys are great together. They've been making content for a while now, and for the most part, they seem like, wow, okay. Craner, I love you, buddy, but 0-2 is kinda wild. Jokes aside, if you grew up watching any of these creators, I recognize it as valid because they are pretty iconic and rest pretty well in the nostalgia. It's still crazy to me how fast time can go. I mean, it really feels like yesterday when Craner was playing with Sunday, and I love both of them to bits, but it's still heartbreaking to remember the times when they would play, like, Trollcraft, Pixelmon. I remember the one time when Craner and Seeya. No. Is this what it feels like to have your parents go through a divorce? They can just go in A tier. We're done here. All right, next in A tier is going to be Dude Perfect. Dude Perfect. I'm sure that as long as man has existed, there has been the primal urge to not put your trash in the trash can, but to instead throw it behind your back into a black hole so perfectly that the black hole can put it in the trash can. Dude Perfect is the YouTube personification of this phenomenon. Dude Perfect is a name that most people in the world recognize because of how simple the concept of their channel is. It's kind of hard to imagine that these guys would build a YouTube empire by throwing things into a place, but I digress. Now, I do want to say that there were allegations that their trick shots were fake, which I believe have been disproved, but I just want to cover all my bases. I want y'all to know that I'm really not here to get into the weeds of drama unless something really catches my eye. Otherwise, I'll just make an unlucky block or just explode. I don't know. So I don't think that they faked anything, but still felt like it was worth mentioning. Dude Perfect is a YouTube classic. They have since expanded from the normal trick shot niche, but even still they expanded really well. Even to this day, their content still manages to be really engaging and creative. So Dude Perfect is doing an amazing job as creators. That's really all I can say. Dude Perfect goes to a solid A tier for me. Alright, top of A tier goes to Smizzy. Now, I want to say that I am a big Smizzy fan. The thing is, I am a big Smizzy fan of modern day. I found him from his Lethal Company videos. When I uploaded part 1 of this, I got a comment that said, and I quote, "No Smizzy." I also got many more comments saying no Technoblade, but guys, he was not a Golden Age YouTuber. Now, if you guys want me to make a modern list of YouTubers, feel free to tell me that and I will include him there. But back to the story, I was like, what? Because I was under the impression that Smizzy wasn't around for that long. Turns out I was very wrong. Not mad to be wrong, because I absolutely love Smizzy content. Very entertaining, to say the least. He definitely falls in line with a lot of other variety gaming channels. The difference between those and Smizzy is nothing. I'm just biased. I'm sorry, guys. I love YouTubers just as much as you guys, but I only can see as far as my eyes show me. That's why I try my best to leave these tier lists open, because you guys have different opinions, you guys have different perspectives, and most likely more educated ones. When you guys comment on these videos, it genuinely helps change my perspective. Obviously, no hate to anyone on this list, because I will never endorse hating someone because life is just too short for that. Anybody D tier and above is completely subjective based on the person. So with that being said, Smizzy is definitely my variety gaming channel, just because he's a funny guy. And what's great about him and creators like him is that their videos age super well. It is very hard for me to casually turn on a video of Minecraft School, but on the contrary, I will totally play a Smizzy video while I'm just casually studying. We all have that YouTuber that we go to when we need noise to kind of drown out the world, and for me, and many of you, that is Smizzy. Now, this video is a little different because we only have one S tier. So, moving on to our one and only S tier, we have DanTDM. You know what? Just like I did Stampy in the last video, I feel like DanTDM definitely deserves a montage here. So,
right, if my calculations are correct, it should be about, yeah, right around here. Look, if we go north, we should get it. That's literally the lab. But yeah, it's been over 3 years since we've been here, and the for sale site is still here. No way. This is the new lab? So we really are selling the old place. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it. Can we go inside and take a look? Oh my goodness, Drowzy, how Grim's here as well. Hey buddy, oh, I missed you so much. How have you been doing? Oh, I missed you too, buddy. And whoa, look at this. Is that a giant power crystal? Whoa.
This place makes me want to just do so many experiments. Oh man, but I think I've got an idea for one more thing that will make this entrance hall just that little bit better. You wait here, and I need to go and visit somewhere. I'll be right back. Ah, that's the perfect view. Just line up the picture and snap. Ah, exactly what I wanted. A perfect picture of the lab.
DanTDM was one of those YouTubers who helped shape childhoods. And beyond that, the larger world around him. You can't help but admire people like him because he paved the way for so many people and so many YouTubers beyond him. So DanTDM will be our S tier for this time. And honestly, he's half the reason why I came back for a part 2. So there it is, the Golden Age YouTubers tier list, part 2. If you guys want to see a modern age YouTuber tier list, please let me know in the comment. This YouTube video would literally not exist if it weren't for your input on the last video. So as always, thank y'all for your support. And again, if you want to be featured in the future, all you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment. Well, it looks like there's nothing left to be said. So with that, I bid you peace, my friend.